All right, we're back. We are COMP125 in the summer 2018 semester at Centennial. That is client-side web development. And today we're talking about assignment 2 first. I'm going to do a little video on assignment 2, give you all the details and requirements, and then we'll stop the video and we'll get on to debugging and error handling, which is the topic of this week, right? So that's what we're talking about mostly. And I'm going to take a different bent on how to do debugging and error handling my way, right? So you guys learn the right way. Well, sorry, let me take that back. The Tom way. It'll be slightly different than what they say in the book, but more or less following what we talk about. But let's get on to assignment 2 details first. So remember that assignment 1 is due when? It's Friday. Can someone grab the door? Where are you guys? Friday at midnight, right? So that's when it's due. Hopefully most of you are mostly done. Please don't wait until tomorrow to finish it. You should finish. If you haven't finished it already, finish it like as soon as possible, right? The longer you wait, it'll make your Friday night hell, and I don't want that to be Friday night hell. With me, it should be fun, right? So remember, this assignment that we're doing, assignment number 1, it was all about you, right? So it shouldn't be that difficult, right? Because you should know yourself pretty good. But assignment 2 is playing off of assignment 1. So if you haven't finished assignment 1, then you'd be in trouble for assignment 2. So this is how it works. So instead of making assignment 1 a massive assignment that's worth like 25%, I broke it off into 2 parts. One part is assignment 1, which is your mini portfolio site with some stuff that I asked for, and assignment 2, which is due week 6, and it looks like June 15th. If I said June 18th, I might have seen something weird on thing up online, but it should say June 15th. That's when it's due. That's on a couple of Fridays from now. So it's in week 6, and it's worth 10%. And all you're doing, it's a very simple assignment. I'm just going to get you to update your contact page. Please don't add this in now. Okay, so don't add your contact page update for assignment 1. Even if you have it, make another version of it and program assignment 2. You can probably knock it off pretty quickly if you're good. You don't have to wait to hand it in until week 6. And remember, you can always resubmit. I don't mind if you resubmit more, like submit as often as you want, right? It doesn't have to be, only one submission. So what it says here is extend your mini portfolio from assignment 1. You will write JavaScript code to capture the form data from the contact page and output the values to the console. That's all you're doing. So it's not going to function. Remember, assignment 1, your contact page, non-functional. It just was like a user interface, really. Assignment 2, you're going to make it function a little bit. And at some point, maybe later in this course, what I'd like to do is make it so that we can make it fully functional by just using JavaScript, right? How to do that. So no PHP, no other stuff, just using JavaScript, maybe some other. There might be another site we can hook into to make it work. But that's what my hope is, to make it so that it's a fully functional page by the end of semester. So again, you're going to do your contact page update, which is your contact page includes your first name, last name, email, contact number, message, all that stuff. So I'm giving you marks for something that I've already given you marks for in assignment number 1, which is kind of cool. So it's like easy marks. Contact page will include 2 buttons, your cancel button and your send button, right? So don't worry if you don't have this now. Remember, I didn't give you strict requirements for your contact page in assignment 1. Now I'm giving you more requirements. It's almost like, imagine another part or a client comes to you and says, you know what, we really like our client page or contact page to look like this. Here's a change. We want you to change your contact page. So I want you to think about this as a change request coming through the pipe from your customer. Customer says, well, Tom, I like your contact page, but I really would like it to be different. I wanted to add these features. We didn't really talk about it in a lot of detail. Please change it like this. And this is what I'm getting you to do. When the user enters data in the contact page and presses the send button, the form data is stored in variables that are appropriately named. Ensure that the values from the variables are output to the console. Now, one thing that I didn't ask here is validation, all right? And I'm going to put that as a bonus. So you make it, if you actually add proper contact page client-side validation, I will give you a little bit of a bonus, all right? I didn't ask for it here, but it's part of most of what we do when we do this. You're getting 5 free marks, by the way, for site structure. If you followed my site structure from assignment number 1, you're going to get 5 marks for assignment number 2, right? Internal documentation is the same. So I want your author's name, your student ID, and so on, all that stuff like normal. GitHub as normal. And of course, you're going to update your live site. You're going to update your live site for assignment number 2 with the contact page update. Okay, so please don't do this right away. All right, because if you do it right away, then your site, your initial site from assignment 1 will look like a little different than what I'm expecting, right? Wait till I'm finished marking assignment number 1 to put it up online for assignment number 2, right? So, but if you really want to, if you really are crazy to put it up, and if you want to finish it over the weekend, you can totally do it. This is not a long assignment. This is a smaller assignment, right? And it's I'm a believer of getting you guys your feet wet, that kind of stuff, and getting you to do small little things, right? Some of them that are harder, some of them that are easier. Your portfolio site, your mini portfolio site, assignment 1 is harder than this one, right? This one is an easier assignment. This is an add-on, right? So I want to kind of give you a chance to get some marks back if you lost some marks from your mini portfolio site, and you can add as much as you want. One of the questions I got over the weekend on Slack, and I have a chance to answer, was, you know, can I use? There's a guy who asked the question: can I use Bootstrap? What's the extent I can use Bootstrap on assignment number 1? Why did you ask that question, John? Tell me. Well, what did you want to do with Bootstrap? That's so crazy, right?
I wasn't 100% sure yet, but I figured there's a lot we can do with it.
What do you mean you're not 100% sure? It's due on Friday. It should be done. Right, sorry, I'm joking. Right. But yeah, you can do whatever you want with Bootstrap. Remember that the only thing I'd ask you not to do is all the stuff that I've asked you from a coding perspective. As long as it doesn't do the coding for you, it's just the presentation layer. Use it to make your site beautiful. That's what I want you to use Bootstrap for, okay? And a Font Awesome as well. Use Font Awesome and Bootstrap to make your site look cool. You don't have to use your own CSS at all if you don't want to, right? If you want to use Bootstrap, as long as it looks good, because you're going to be marked. Half the marks are going to be on user interface, right? So keep that in mind, just like they are here. In fact, your user interface marks for assignment number 2 are worth 7, and your functionality is worth 6, right? So I want it to look good, guys, right? If it looks like crap, then it's not a great website. Remember the 3 pillars, right? We start with structure, we go with presentation, and then we add JavaScript. So if your structure and your presentation suck, I'm sorry to say it that way, or they're really bad, right? It doesn't matter how good your JavaScript skills are, right? So please keep that in mind when you're doing your assignment number 1 and your assignment number 2. It has to look good. Some people said, well, what if I got another message? I'm not going to say by who, but they said, hey, what if I buy a theme from Bootstrap? There's, you know, you can go to Bootswatch. I'll give you that little thing here. So if you go to Bootswatch, and there's some free themes for Bootstrap here. This is totally doable. You can download whatever theme you want, all right, from Bootstrap. I'll put this up on our Slack channel. So here's our Slack channel, not this one. Here it is. So here's Bootswatch. If you wanted to use your free themes from Bootswatch, it's totally allowed. You can totally do that. You can buy themes if you really want to as well, as long as they don't take, you know, do any of the coding for you. If they do the coding for you, then it's not allowed because it's not your code. But if it looks awesome, it looks fantastic, and it's JavaScript enabled, because that's what Bootstrap is. It's JavaScript enabled to make it look awesome, right? That's okay to me, right? Because the underlying things that I'm asking you to do in your app.js aren't touched by this. It's just presentation, right? And in real life, you'd use something like Bootstrap or some kind of material theme, all right? And again, the other one that I talked about was Foundation, right? And I always talk about Foundation as an alternate by Zerb. Those are the 3, kind of material. There's Foundation, which is also a front-end CSS framework, right? Whether you use Foundation, Bootstrap, or if you use Material Design. So if I go to Material, we can use Material Design to do that. Is Material.io, which is also being used by, this is kind of like more of a standard for mobile devices it's slowly being used with Angular and other front-end frameworks. If you want to use one of these, I'd be okay with it if you asked me to do it. If you said, like, Tom, I don't want to use Bootstrap, I want to use Foundation, I'd be like, okay. It's okay. It's not going to help you on your test, though, because on your test coming up on week 7, I'm going to ask you to use Bootstrap. I'm going to ask you to use, Font Awesome. I'm going to ask you to use Visual Studio Code. You could use Visual Studio if you want, or WebStorm. But I'm going to ask you to use these tools. You're going to have to put it up on GitHub. You're going to have to make it live. All these things that I've asked you to do in your assignment number 1, number 2, you're going to do in 2 hours, right? But how is that possible? And I'm talking about exam, midterm kind of test or whatever. And I'm giving you, this is supposed to be assignment 2 details, right? But the reason why I'm talking about it is because everything in assignment 1 and assignment 2 is going to prepare you for what I'm going to ask you to do on your exam. All right, so if you do assignment 1 and assignment 2, then you should be fine. Your midterm, you'll be like, wow, that was the easiest midterm ever, right? And if you don't do this kind of stuff, you're gonna like, wow, that was the hardest midterm ever, right? It's gonna be one of those. So please do your stuff on your own, like I asked you to do. Make sure that you follow the instructions. It's not that difficult. It's just getting your feet wet, the first part, especially the first half, on how to use JavaScript with the web and everything else. And in the second half, we'll do more challenging stuff, like add, object-oriented programming techniques and so on with JavaScript. We can do all those kind of things. So that's really assignment 2 in a nutshell. Any questions around assignment 2? So it's an offshoot of assignment 1. It's like assignment 1 add-on, really, more than anything else, for 10%. All right, that's it for this video then, and we'll stop this video and we'll come back with the next one, which will be more on the topic that we're covering today.